The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. A music legend suddenly vanishes from the stage. For 15 years, an entire studio audience kept their mouths shut. And just like that, well, one award speech in France just blew the vault wide open.
Welcome to Starscope Report.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Right, and today, we're skipping the red carpet pleasantries to dive straight into the massive fallout of Oprah Winfrey's bombshell revelation about the late, great Whitney Houston.
Yeah, we have a pretty giant stack of sources to get through for this deep dive. I mean, we're pulling from Variety, TMZ, Thagrios, Socialite Life, and, oh man, this completely explosive breakdown from the Willie D Live YouTube channel.
It's wild, because what we're really looking at here isn't just like a piece of celebrity gossip. It's a full-blown war over Whitney Houston's legacy.
It really is.
It's this fascinating collision of how media titans operate versus how grieving families protect their own. So to really understand the gravity of the bombshell Oprah just dropped at the Cannes Lions Festival, we kind of have to rebuild the world of September 2009.
Oh, right, the big comeback era.
Exactly. Picture the cultural landscape back then. Whitney Houston is staging what was supposed to be her ultimate triumphant comeback. She had just released I Look to You, which was her first studio album since 2002, I think.
Yeah, 2002.
Right. So she books this massive two-part interview on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and over 11 million viewers tuned in. It was a huge cultural event.
The stakes for that specific television appearance were just astronomical. I mean, the public had been watching Whitney struggle for years.
Oh, totally.
You know, the erratic behavior, the tabloid covers, all the rumors about her marriage to Bobby Brown. So this Oprah interview was really her moment to reclaim her narrative.
Yeah, and when she stood on that stage and saying, "I didn't know my own strength."
The Diane Warren ballad, right?
Yes. The energy in that room was electric. The public was just so desperate for her to win. And honestly, the strategy worked. Following that performance, sales for I Look at You spiked 77%. It launched the record to the top tier of the Billboard 200.
It really looked, at least from the outside, like a total reset.
It did. But fast forward to June 2026. Oprah is in France, accepting the Cannes Lionheart Award, which is given to actors who use their platform positively.
Right, right.
She's giving a speech about protecting her interview subjects. And to illustrate her point, she casually drops this revelation that just completely shatters that triumphant 2009 narrative.
It completely shatters it.
Oprah tells the Cannes audience that before the cameras rolled, she met with Whitney backstage. And Whitney was clean.
Yeah.
But by the time Whitney stepped out to perform for the studio audience, Oprah claims she was high.
Wow.
And then, straight from Oprah's mouth, she says Whitney actually fell off the stage.
I mean, the sheer mechanics of what Oprah claims happened next are just staggering. She says she immediately halted this multi-million-dollar production. She walked out to an audience of hundreds of people equipped with flip phones and early smartphones, mind you.
Yep.
And she looked at them and begged them not to post any pictures or leak the story. Oprah told the Cannes crowd her exact thought process. She said, "I knew that if that story got out that she'd fallen off the stage, that she would be completely destroyed by that."
So she told the audience it would ruin Whitney's life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And miraculously, for 15 years, that audience complied. Like, not a single grainy photo ever hit the internet.
See, the logistics of that compliance are what fascinate me.
Yeah.
Because it's less like a vault and more like a psychological hostage situation.
A hostage situation.
That's intense. Well, think about it. Oprah weaponized her immense cultural authority to create a localized bystander effect. In 2009, daytime television was the undisputed king of media, and Oprah was the absolute monarch.
That's true.
If one person in that studio audience took out a flip phone, they weren't just betraying Whitney Houston's privacy. They were actively defying the moral command of Oprah Winfrey inside her own house.
Wow. Yeah, the social pressure to conform to Oprah's grace in that room must have been suffocating, but like in the best way possible.
Exactly.
Which is such a brilliant way to look at the power dynamics of daytime TV back then. Oprah even pointed out in her Cannes speech that containing a secret like that today, you know, with the omnipresence of TikTok and live streaming.
Oh, it would be mathematically impossible.
Right. So the audience applauded her protective instinct. They saw it as this profound act of empathy.
I hear the applause for the grace aspect, I really do. But let's look at the actual outcome and the underlying psychology of keeping that secret. It makes you think about, well, your own life, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If you have a friend who's struggling with addiction, Where is the line between covering for them out of love and inadvertently hiding a crisis that desperately needs to be brought into the light?
Oh, that is such a heavy question.
Did locking that information away actually help Whitney, or did it just delay the inevitable? Because we all know the tragic ending to this story. Whitney accidentally drowned in a Beverly Hills hotel bathtub in 2012, with heart disease and cocaine use listed as contributing factors.
It's so heartbreaking. That tension between enabling and protecting is like the heaviest burden anyone loving an addict carries.
Definitely.
And that protective instinct you just mentioned, that is exactly what makes the internet's ferocious reaction to Oprah's con speech so volatile. While the audience in France saw a story of grace, the digital world saw a massive betrayal. But while Oprah framed this as a moment of grace, the internet saw it very differently. And wait till you hear what came next.
The backlash was instantaneous. I mean, fans completely eviscerated Oprah for dragging Whitney's name through the mud posthumously.
Yeah, it was intense.
And the timing of this couldn't be more sensitive. The culture is feeling incredibly protective over Whitney Houston right now because Clive David...
Oh, right, the legendary record executive.
Yeah, exactly. The man who discovered Whitney and built her career, he just passed away at 94.
The loss of Clive Davis definitely acts as an emotional amplifier for this entire controversy. I mean, when a foundational figure like Clive passes away, the community's instinct is to circle the wagons around the legacy he built.
Right.
Fans want to focus on the voice, the unprecedented chart records, the triumph of her talent. They feel highly defensive when a billionaire media mogul standing on a stage in France decides to dig up one of the most humiliating hidden moments of Whitney's life. Which
Which brings us to the media economics of posthumous storytelling, perfectly highlighted by that viral YouTube channel, Willie D Live.
Oh man, that video.
Yeah, Willie D posted a takedown video that just systematically dismantled Oprah's motivations. His core argument is that Oprah has a documented pattern of utilizing black celebrities while they are alive, only to dissect them once they're no longer useful to her brand.
The parallel Willie D drew to Michael Jackson was particularly sharp. He pointed out that during Michael's life, Oprah gladly accepted the exclusive access,
Yeah, she broadcasted live from the Neverland Ranch.
Exactly, pulling in historic television ratings that benefited her empire. But after Michael's death, Willie D notes, she threw her platform behind hit piece documentaries.
Right.
The underlying accusation is that deceased icons become a different kind of currency. Like, when they are alive, you partner with them. When they're dead, you mine their lowest moments for your own standing ovations.
Willie D literally said, and this is a direct quote, "Oprah, rather than ruining her life while she's living, you decide to ruin her reputation after she dies."
Wow.
That struck a massive nerve online. He actually took it a step further and questioned the very existence of the photos.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he argued that no studio audience is loyal enough to pass up the massive, life-changing payday those photos would command today. He suggested the entire story might be exaggerated just to serve Oprah's narrative of being a benevolent protector.
I mean, whether you buy his skepticism about the photos or not, his frustration speaks to a much broader disillusionment. For decades, Oprah was the pinnacle of relatable excellence. But videos like Willie D's suggest a growing sentiment that she is disconnected from the community she once represented, bringing up an unsubstantiated, embarrassing flaw about a universally revered figure like Whitney Houston just feels to many like an unnecessary extraction of trauma.
So how is the broader public digesting this?
Yeah.
The Griot did some excellent reporting, pulling comments from threads. And the divide is a perfect reflection of how we view media ethics.
What were people saying?
Well, author Demetria Lucas offered a really grounded perspective. She pointed out the sheer financial sacrifice Oprah made in 2009. Airing footage of a massive pop star falling off a stage high would have been a ratings bonanza.
Oh, it would have dominated the news cycle for months.
Exactly. Oprah actively opted out of millions in ad revenue and viewership to look out for Whitney.
She left a massive amount of money on the table to protect a human being. But, the opposing side of the internet argues that some stories, regardless of the initial sacrifice, belong in the grave.
Yeah.
The sentiment is that once someone has passed, the statute of limitations on sharing their private humiliation expires.
And then TMZ threw a psychological wrench into the debate. They published a piece asking a really provocative question. Did protecting Whitney actually hurt her?
That's a bold claim.
TMZ proposed that if those photos had leaked to the tabloids in 2009, the sheer, crushing public embarrassment might have forced her to hit a definitive rock bottom.
Ah, the rock bottom theory.
Yeah. And hitting that bottom might have triggered the severe life-saving intervention she needed to avoid her death 3 years later.
I mean, it's a theory that makes logical sense on the surface if you view addiction as a willpower issue, but it completely ignores the actual pathology of substance abuse.
Let's break down the neuroscience of that, because the TMZ theory actually falls apart when you look at the mechanics of a shame spiral.
Yeah.
Psychologically, addiction thrives on isolation and self-loathing. When someone experiences a massive, catastrophic public humiliation, like a leaked photo of them high, falling off a stage, it triggers a massive cortisol spike. The brain is flooded with stress.
Right.
So to numb that overwhelming, unbearable shame, the brain instinctively craves the exact substance that caused the problem in the first place, because it's the only coping mechanism the person has. Public shaming doesn't act as an intervention. It acts as an accelerant.
That is the critical flaw in the rock bottom myth. We like to imagine that public disgrace acts as a mirror that shocks someone into sobriety.
Exactly.
But historically, for celebrities under a microscope, intense shame just drives them further into the shadows. Blaming Oprah's compassion for Whitney's eventual drowning is a dangerous bit of retroactive engineering.
It's Monday morning quarterbacking a tragedy, assuming a leaked photo is a magic bullet for a complex disease. By the way, if you're loving these Hollywood twists and the deeper analysis behind the headlines, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
Oh. Yes, definitely subscribe. Because just when you thought this was merely a debate over internet ethics and the psychology of addiction, Whitney Houston's own family entered the chat. And that is where the entire narrative fractures.
The Houston estate did not just disagree with Oprah. They publicly branded her narrative a fiction.
They really did.
The estate is managed by Pat Houston, Whitney's sister-in-law. Pat has spent the last decade fiercely guarding Whitney's legacy. She produces the documentaries, manages the tributes, and curates how the world remembers the talent.
So when Oprah's speech hit the global news cycle, Pat Houston released a blistering, exclusive statement to TMZ.
What did she say?
Pat confirmed that a fall did happen. But she stated categorically that the fall took place during a sound check. Absolutely not during the actual performance.
Oh, wow.
Furthermore, she stated the fall was a result of the darkness of the area and Whitney's unfamiliarity with the stage layout, not because she was high on drugs.
Pat actually said, "We owe her the dignity of telling the truth, not repeating myths." That is the exact line she used. She argued it is profoundly unfair to attach Whitney's struggles to every single chapter and misstep of her life.
I mean, calling an anecdote from one of the most powerful women in media a myth is a staggering public rebuke.
It is.
You can feel the deep, bone-weary exhaustion in Pat Houston's statement. The family is locked in this endless defensive posture, constantly having to assert Whitney's professionalism against a media machine that refuses to let the sensationalized version of her die.
But let's look at the actual logistics of television production here.
Yeah.
Because the mechanics of these two stories cannot coexist.
Right.
We have a massive timeline anomaly. Oprah claims she interviewed Whitney clean backstage, but then Whitney was high during the taping in front of the audience and fell. She then begged the audience to put their cameras away.
Yeah.
The estate says it was a sound check. Well, in a multi-million-dollar television production, a sound check happens hours before the studio audience is loaded in. The lighting rigs are being tested. The union crews are on the floor. The seats are empty. Wow. If it was a sound check, who was Oprah begging to put their flip phones away?
That is such a good point. It's a classic example of the Rashomon effect, where the exact same event is interpreted and remembered in entirely contradictory ways by the people who lived it.
Yep.
How do two powerful entities have such conflicting memories of a heavily documented, highly scheduled television production?
Did Oprah conflate a physical stumble in a dark, empty rehearsal with the high-stakes live taping? Did she retroactively project Whitney's history of substance abuse onto a simple, clumsy trip over a monitor cable?
Or conversely, is the Houston estate engaging in what we call legacy calcification?
Oh, legacy calcification. Let's talk about that.
It is a crucial concept here. Estates aren't just grieving families. They are the managers of highly lucrative intellectual property. Their job is to smooth out the rough, controversial edges of a deceased star's life to keep the brand profitable for biopics, holograms, and licensing deals.
Definitely.
Admitting that Whitney relapsed and fell in front of a live studio audience damages the pristine mythology the estate is trying to build.
So we have two immovable objects colliding. Oprah, who wants to use the story as a parable about her own media grace, versus the estate, which needs the story to be a harmless logistical error in the dark.
And caught in the center of that collision is the memory of a woman who isn't here to clarify the record. Oprah intended to share a message about the power of protection, but by using that specific example, she stripped away the very dignity she spent 15 years preserving. It's a devastating irony.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, because the fallout from this is far from over.
It proves that the truth in Hollywood is rarely a single objective fact. It's a hall of mirrors.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a lingering question to mull over. We've analyzed the media economics, the fan backlash, and the family's defense. But when a beloved cultural icon passes away, who actually owns their history?
That is the big question.
Is it the media titans who sat across from them, who witnessed their private struggles, and hold the undeniable weight of their own memories?
Is it the public who bought the albums and feel a deep emotional ownership over the art?
Or is it the families, the people who love them behind closed doors, desperately trying to calcify their legacy and preserve their dignity in a world that profits off their pain? The cameras may have stopped flashing 15 years ago, but the fight over the film is clearly just beginning.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.